Sugar Sean O'Malley. I've been a little surprised. Is that the right word? Surprised? Because I've seen this a million times. Been a little surprised how much people are attempting to pile on a young man who works hard, who has a dream, who then, by the way, goes and puts it online with his shirt off, his mouthpiece in front of the world against anybody who gets in there against him. I'm a little bit confused in the world of teasing somebody, how that action is deservable of being teased. Okay, let's set that aside. Okay, fight fans, we get to be anything we want, including jerks. We get to be positive, we get to be negative. I'm the first to disclose that. Doesn't mean I wasn't a little bit surprised. You've got a guy who went out there and was injured. There's a difference in being hurt and there's a difference in being injured. And I make no contention for you that was on accident or he rolled his foot on something and it was the apparatus's fault. I got no problem with saying that his opponent did it. Nothing wrong with saying Cheeto kicked him in the foot and hurt his foot, which is Tito's entire job, and giving him his full credit. You still have somebody who got hurt while trying to do something to his best of his ability, and by the way, pushing through it and not letting the fact that he got hurt slow him down and or stop him. It seems like a big stretch to me how that same person, Sean O'Malley, is even a candidate for teasing. But you won't win. If your intent was to hurt his feelings, you did not win. Sugar Sean came out. So, everybody keeps telling me to take my loss like a man. I don't even know what that means. I lose every day. I went to jiu-jitsu today. I was tapped out today, which means I lost. I am 12-0 in my mind. My record may say I'm 12-1. I'm 12-0 in my mind. He said, and besides, if you go back and watch the fight, I was just getting ready to beat his ass. Okay. Set that entertainment, set that piece of wonderful theater aside. Back up a second to something he said. He said, in my mind, I am 12-0. What does that mean? I'll tell you what that means. If you were an athlete specifically, but this could be advice just to a human being, but if you were an athlete specifically, we'll keep it on that. You have to be very careful what you let in your bubble. And the toughest guy I met in my life, guy that I do not question to this day, is a guy named Les Gutchess. And Les Gutchess was the champion of the world, and I was sitting in his living room. We had finished a workout. I'm sitting in his living room, looking up to a guy, and I'm on his couch. I mean, cool spot for me, right? But he did talk about something. And he talked about just that. He talked about just this topic, what O'Malley is dealing with now, in my mind. And Les had made a comment to me that you have to be very careful what you let in your bubble. There is something that you find out through this process that either has an adverse effect on the outcome, or you learn about yourself as a person, as a character. Your character issue. Who am I? And you don't like that answer. Sometimes you got to act like it didn't happen. Sometimes you have to be an actor, which includes pretending to be somebody you're not to get the result that you're after. And Les Gutchess specifically, he commented on something about he hadn't lost an X amount of time, or he said, I've never been pinned, or I haven't been pinned since high school. He made some comment that wasn't true. I knew because I was such a fan. I had followed this guy's career. He was thrown in a head and arm his sophomore year in the NCAA semifinals by a guy named Reese Andy out of Wyoming, and he was pinned. For reasons unknown, I decided to remind him of that. I decided to correct his own statement while in his house across from a man who could kill me. I was trying to impress him with my knowledge of his career. Okay, set that part aside. And I remember he looked away, but I interpreted that he regained thought and realized I was right. But all I remember is the way he looked back at me. And he said, I have blocked that from my bubble. Ended that conversation, and that conversation took place in 1999. But I remember that moment. And I remember that moment, and I tie that in correlation with Sean O'Malley is saying right now. If there was something about his journey, right? Don't forget, history's written by the winners. Any of you that think you are history experts, you're only experts on what the textbook says. We can see in as short of a time as last week versus the way that that's interpreted and written today, that it's just not one of those things. But history does get written by the winners. Sean O'Malley is attempting to rewrite history. Guess what? So's everybody else. Sean O'Malley is a winner. Many people tried to hurt Sean O'Malley's feelings. Those people have failed. Sean O'Malley wins again.